mamas, welcome to day 15 of the 21-day Postpartum Ab Challenge. So we're in our final week of the program and we have made it so far and done a lot of challenging exercises. And in this final week, we're really gonna put some of that strength and endurance to the test. So we're going back to core stability today and we're gonna begin on our hands and knees. So come on over into a tabletop position with hands under shoulders and knees under hips. We're gonna lift the front arm and back leg like a bird dog, but we're gonna lift and pulse. So keep the leg and arm off the floor. Continue to connect to that deep core and pelvic floor. Now we're still going the same amount of time, 50 seconds, but the moves are gonna be more intense in this last week. So with that being said, you might find you need to decrease the time interval, and that's perfectly okay. For this one, I want you to keep your thumb up and your toes to the ground, heel up. You can point or flex the feet, whatever works for you, but just make sure you're not rotating through the hips, you're keeping everything square to the floor, keeping that strong core brace really stable here. Even with that pulse, we want to feel strong and stable. Rest. All right, you can shift the hips back to the heels. We're going to repeat that on the other side. So again, core stability, you have to get stable to work that stability. So we do a lot of things where we are working one arm or one leg, or both rather. And this one, if you find it's too challenging, just drop the arm, focus on the leg. But if you can, add that opposite arm and really feel how that fires your deep core, your pelvic floor, all those muscles in the abs. And you might not feel a huge burn per se, but you can feel how hard it is to maintain this movement, to maintain this exercise for the interval. And that's the core stability we're focusing on, that endurance. When we take an arm and a leg away, the core has to work really hard to find balance. Good, couple more seconds here. And rest. Okay, now we're gonna move to a bear plank and we're gonna walk it out to a high plank. So starting in that same position, shift your body forward a little bit, tuck toes, lift knees off the floor about 1 inch. We're gonna walk out, and then walk back in. Switch the leg, you lead with each time. When you walk out, you can see my back is flat, but my tailbone is below my shoulders. And that's what we want, a nice slope from top of head to tailbone. Butt is down. And you see, when I'm moving in and out, my upper body is not shifting forward or back, right? Just the legs are moving. So that's gonna keep that load in the core, in the shoulders, and slow and controlled here. Again, we're trying to find that stability. If you need to, you can drop the knees down when we're in that bear plank position if you need a little recovery. But if you can keep them off the floor the whole time, you're keeping that tension on. And again, that's building that endurance we're looking for. Rest. Okay, now we're gonna move to a bear crawl. So come to the back of your mat. We're gonna apply kind of that same type of movement. This time we're going forward and backwards. So tuck toes, brace the core. We're walking 4, 3, 2, 1 to the front. Now crawl it back. 4, 3, 2. So you can see my opposite hand and foot are moving simultaneously. That knee stays close to the ground and the hand just barely lifts off the ground. So you want to stay low. That's going to keep the core loaded and also help you stabilize. If you try to make really big movements, it's going to be kind of awkward, but it's also going to take some of that pressure out of the core. So we want to stay low and loaded, keeping that knee close to the ground and keeping the shoulder in the opposite hand over the wrist as best as we can. Now, if you find you're losing technique, you can always drop the knees for a couple. Just keep it moving. This is really gonna take the pressure off. So try not to do too many of those. Try, if you can, keeping those knees off the floor. All right, now we're gonna move to forearm plank. So come onto your belly, let's set it up. Elbows under shoulders, fists together. Tuck the toes, lift hips up and back to shoulder height. We're gonna lift the front knee off the ground, place it gently down. Back knee off the ground, place it gently down. So one at a time. Exhale, brace as you lift the knee. It's a micro movement, right? Just the knee is coming off the ground, extending the leg. That opposite knee stays down. Your butt stays down the whole time. You don't want to be pushing your hips back. You want to keep everything in a straight line from head to tailbone. Yes, hips about shoulder height, back nice and flat. Adding, again, a little instability to challenge our stability. Couple more seconds here. We're almost done with this workout. Rest. All right, that was it. 5 minutes of core stability. We're gonna continue progressing throughout this week. Let me know what your goals are for this last week in the comments, what you thought of the program so far and what you're looking forward to. And I'll see you back here tomorrow for our next workout.